What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? My name's Jesse. Welcome to Better Than Common Garage. And right here, you might notice I bought myself one of the biggest additions to my garage, a used two-post car lift. So it's got some wear on it, but all in all, not in bad shape for being almost 20 years old. I'm pretty excited. This ought to be pretty fun and exciting for the channel, and it also will aid in the projects that I can do. So I'm going to try to get this thing unloaded with the little Kubota. We'll see how well it picks this up, and I'll bring you along for the ride. Oh, hello, and welcome to Better Than Common Garage. I'm your host, I think, for the most part. No, that's stupid.
Getting pretty close from the garage. Jeez. Really close there.
Well, let me see that. All right, we're going on 15 minutes here, but we got her unloaded. Little point, it's a Benpack. It's a model XL9 made in the year 2004. So it's almost 20 years old, but everything seems to be in operational condition. The people that sold it to me assured me that it worked when they took it down. It was off an estate sale I found on Facebook Marketplace. So got a pretty good deal on it. Other things to note, you might notice there's more of that dreaded garbage here. Insulation, more insulation. This stuff isn't quite as nice as the last batch I got. It's got, I don't know what in the world they did to that piece, but it's all chewed up. But I'm getting it slowly put up here in the corners. Last time you saw, I didn't have any of this done. I got all that done. Now comes the fun part where I got to move the workbench and take the stuff off the wall, move the fridge, move the toolbox. There's a little chunk down there that needs to go. Try to fish it a piece in through the wiring here at the door. You know, just the non-fun pieces. All the easy ones are done. Now we're down to the ones that are going to take some time. So that's the game plan. Get the installation finished and then start working on this. Well, hello. Today we're working on setting up my new lift. So if you look, I sort of have it sitting right now, according to the book that I downloaded on the line. I have this lift sitting in the recommended spot in this distance, and it actually works out pretty well from here to here, but I'm going to modify that dimension some, and I'm going to go that way more with it, about 18 inches. But as you can see, it's sitting here. It's definitely used, but I think it'll work out pretty well. So yeah, we're gonna relay these out here. I got my center mark, the chalk line there, you can barely see it, but I'm going to relay these out and maybe start drilling some holes here soon. Had my buddy bring out his nice hammer drill here with a 3/4 inch bit, and I got a kit off of Amazon. It came with bolts, nuts, washers, and the shims for pretty cheap. So we're gonna get to it. This ought to be fun. All right. So, what you saw me do there was, you sort of see the lines I drew on the floor there. I basically took that mark, transferred it over, that's my center line. The post is 17 inches wide, the base plate. So 8.5 inches from center to the front edge will be that pencil mark there. And then this line across here is what I need to be centered in my bay. And then I'm checking the overall width. Now, tech tip, if you got something you want to have pretty precise, you know, within reason, and you don't have an edge to hook on, some people go to 1 and hold the 1 on the line instead of trying to just use the tip, because the tip is just sort of like, I don't know, not real accurate when you're not hooked to something or pushing against something. But if you use 1, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times what will happen is you'll mark it down at this end at the wrong number. You'll forget to add the 1. But if you hold it on 10, if you'll hold it at the 10 instead of the 1, you'll notice 10 inches off. I mean, that's no small number. And then it's simple math. You just add 10 to the number that you want to have. In my case, I want to be at 132 inches wide, which I'm pretty close. Just like a 16th off there, which I will make sure I crowd the line with my post to make sure I'm right on the money. But always hold to 10 when you're trying to do things like that. It really does help. I've had to fix a lot of problems in my past because of guys holding on 1 and forgetting to add the 1, and then everything comes off an inch short. That'll ruin your night. So I'm going to get to moving the posts. Next step is to level. Got them on there, got them on the marks. Oops. You can sort of see that when you zoom in. Yeah, there you can see the marks. You notice there's a little bit of rust on this post. It's not structural surface rust. I'm going to grind it off and repaint it, but not bad for a 19-year-old car lift. Let's see if we can't get this thing leveled up. I know they're not level. I'm not sure, should I drill the holes next and then level? Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll drill the holes next and then level. Let's move you back here. All right, so that's good. Well, I screwed up. I thought I was time-lapsing, but I never hit record. But I got holes in the concrete. So, got it all the way around. Got it all vacuumed out. Had the old vacuum fired up. And from my previous experiences installing lifts, I have installed a few lifts for my buddy and his dad and their company. But from my previous experience, that is key to getting these style anchors to bite, is to having sucking all that dust and stuff out of the hole out of your concrete as best you can. I might even get the blow nozzle and blow it out there a little bit. I guess the next step is to start leveling. These things ain't level yet. They're close-ish. I think that one's about a quarter out and that one's about the same. So we'll see how many shims they take to get right. Maybe I'll get the time lapse actually set up this time. We'll see. Okay, so you saw there, I did the rough shimming. They're pretty close. This side here, I got a little bit more to do. It needs to be pulled back in order to be level. But it's pretty close right now, and I'm not hammering the bolts in just yet. My buddy, I talked to him when he dropped the drill off, and he said that he would let the bolts out, like stuck in the hole but not pounded in. That way when we're moving all the cables and stuff, everything's not cinched down so tight that we can't make things move around where we need to get access. So I'm going to work on unraveling that mess of cables. This ought to be fun. And it goes up there to that little pulley and all that kind of crap. So hook my hoses up here and see if I can't make heads or tails of these cables. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to fight with these cables and all that goes with them. And then, see, I got it. That was tucked down in. I had a little bit of an issue, but I got it on the pulley up there. You can almost see that. And this one's still laying here. I think I'm gonna lift the arms up, block them up, so I can do all the work between the posts here. So, but I'm not gonna film that. I'll probably pick you guys back up here in a little bit. I'll try to get all the cables and stuff hooked up and maybe bring you guys back when I'm putting the power unit or running the wire or something. But well, see you here in a bit. Hey, welcome back. I had to take a break. I was getting frustrated. It's now a day or two later from the last time you saw me. Still working on the lift. If you look here, I put the floor plate, the plate that goes down between to cover up the cables, I put that down and just to verify that I had the posts the right distance apart. I talked to my buddy and he said that what I should have done, instead of how I was doing it, I should have pounded the bolts down in, got the post nice and level, and then hooked up the power to the lift and raised it up to the first latch. He said, then you run your cables while the arms are up and in the latch position. Well, dummy me, I probably should have paid attention to that conversation. That is not how I've been doing it. But I'm halfway there. So what I'm gonna do is finish shimming the rest of these, pound the bolts down in, get the post nice and plumb. And then you noticed I got the power unit on, the wire somewhat run. It's over here. It's hooked up to an outlet, or a breaker rather. So we've made a little bit of progress. I have one, I think they're called equalizing cables. I have one of those to hook up yet. The one that comes from this side over is hooked up. And that was no easy feat, but it's there. Now, what would have been better is the guy that took it down, if he would have taken the nut off of this cable here on the bottom, rather than taking the nut off of that cable back there. That way you could just pull the cable down to it and then fish the nut on the bottom. But either way, my buddy said it would be way easier with the arms up. So he said level the posts up, bolt them down, you know, raise the arms up. And that way you can have room to work. And I thought, that makes a lot of sense. So like a dummy, that's what I should have been doing. And had I looked at the instructions I downloaded online, that's it. They tell you to do also. So we're going to attempt to run some hydraulic fluid in this. I have some old Hy-Gard, whatever, tranny fluid, hydraulic systems. It says right there, hydraulic. I don't know. They say they recommend running ATF in these. The fluid that has come out of those lines and stuff was clear, so it was not ATF. So I'm guessing that's probably what they had, and it was some sort of tractor hydraulic fluid. But that's what I'm going to run because, well, I got 2 gallons of it. And that should be enough to get me with my arms raised up. The old feller that had this before me, the button gave out. So he professionally wired in a switch. Yeah, it'll work for now. I'm going to get a better switch for it, but that's just what they had on it. So we will bolt these down. Okay, so bolts are snug. We're looking pretty level. Let me see if I can't show you. So let's get a good angle on this. That right there is pretty close. The true test of a level is if you flip it over and you get the exact same reading. That's a good bubble. It's hard to show on camera, but in real life, it's really, really, really close. Then what I'll do, what they tell you to do once you get all the bolts torqued, is to measure from tip to tip and then from the base to the base, and make sure they're equal. Although I don't know what for tolerance they have on that. I'm having a little issue getting this side plumbed up. It didn't come out as good as the back, so I might have to do a little bit more re-shimming. As you saw there, I had to put some shims in there, but I think I went in too deep and made it too thick of a pack, so I might have to slide those out to get everything right where it needs to be. But right now everything's snug, not torqued, but snug. The bolts are drawing up nice. We used to have issues with that type fastener pulling out of the concrete, but this was 20 years ago probably, And we used to run them in with the impact. They recommend not doing that nowadays. That was probably why we was having so much issues, but I'm snugging them up. I'm probably gonna have to loosen them back up and try to dig that shim pack out a little bit, try to back it out some to where I don't have so much. And that'll bring the back some and this side this way a little bit. And that's what this needs. So, more shimming. All right, let's see how we did. All the bolts are torqued. They all pulled out about the same. You got about 3 or 4 threads shown. This one has a little bit more, but not a cause for concern. They're 5-inch long bolts. Let's check. See if we're doing better than common or just common. Well, camera work is common. It's hard to show. It looks like it's off. Yeah, it could go out. The top could go in a little bit, but it's really not bad. What about here? Flip it over. Reading about the same. So, well, we shall see. When my buddy comes over, he's supposed to come over tomorrow night, and I'm sure we'll fine tune the plumbing of it. But for tonight, I want to get the bolts tight, the arm or the post somewhat level, and the arms up into the lock position. Now, this lift being older, it looks like the release for the locks is right here, which I am not a big fan of. I really wish I'd have seen that before I bought it, but you gotta unlock each arm individually. That's how old this thing is. It's a 2004 model, but it'll work for me. All right. Both posts are tight. Both posts are level. It turned out pretty all right. So I'm going to throw some hydraulic fluid in the tank, flip the breaker, and raise it up to the first notch, catch for the latches. On both arms, hopefully both arms go up about the same rate. There's air in it, so it'll take a little bit to get it bled, but let's see what we get here. Here goes nothing. Stop that. I don't see any sparks. Got one going up. Cool. It's got air in it, so it'll take a little bit for it to go. It's all right, just had air. Yeah, I'm level first latch. Level second latch. That one's having trouble. I think he's got air in the crossover line. Rain's not leaking. Nice. Okay, that's on the first notch, and I gotta let this one down. That's supposed to work. tomorrow, my buddy's coming out, and we will finish these cables. So, and we'll probably fine tune the level a little bit, but it's really, really, really close. I'm really happy with how these anchors grabbed hold of my pad, the concrete. Like I said, in the past, we've fought those where they didn't want to catch. No leaks. Got some air in that side, but you know, you run it up and down 4 or 5 times the whole way up and the whole way back down to bleed the air. So I haven't done that, and I don't have enough oil in it yet just to do that. So probably end up adding that whole gallon there by the time it's all said and done. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, it's a new day, and I have some updates. The lift right now is up on the first latches on each side, and I have a bit of an issue. So in the instructions, I was going through the instructions. On the instructions, it tells you to put a level across the arms and check to make sure it's level across the arms, and then check the distance between your columns at the bottom and at the top, make sure it's even. Right now, this column here is down about a ½ inch or so. Well, not quite a ½ inch, about 3/8. So that means that I need to shim, put an additional shim underneath all those bolts there, and bring this side up. So that's the game plan for right now. My buddy's coming out, and we're gonna hopefully have this finalized this evening. So that's where I'm at. I gotta get a little bit more shimmy. Get shimmy with it. But we're making progress. It'll be done soon enough. And I busted out my laser level just to verify that the floor is indeed sloped towards the drain, which is what's causing this issue. And it is. It's got about 3/8 of an inch of fall, which, you know, isn't terrible, but I want to get it closer than that. And I do plan on just putting these black shims here. Those are 1/4 inch. That won't make it perfect, but I think that'll be good enough. We'll see. Well, I got it shimmed up a 1/4 inch. And, you know, it's better. It's common. I don't know. Can you see that? And if I raise this end up here about a 1/4 inch, it gets close. Now that's a finger width right there. So is that 1/4 inch, maybe 5/16. So, I don't know. I'm gonna wait for my buddy to come, see what he says, if it's good enough. I mean, it's not perfect, but good grief, these arms are probably half bent, and I doubt the rest of the lift is perfect, is what I'm trying to say. So, we'll see. All right, as you can see, we got a vehicle up on the lift, the old Barn Find B2. She's sitting pretty. I'm just about as tickled pink as you could get. The old lift is not in the best of shape, so it's got its own set of issues I got to work through, but it does work. I had to adjust the cables to get everything to lift properly. My buddy Pat came out, we did that. He got her working nice. Some issues with this thing. This side over here they lift within a 1/4 inch of being even of each other. So this side comes up and this side come up. within a 1/4 inch of each other. This side here on coming down doesn't come down as fast as the other side, and I think that this either the column itself has a little bit more friction in it, not allowing this assembly to come down, or the cylinder itself is tighter than the cylinder on this side, which isn't letting it come down as fast. Either way you look at it, this side will drop faster than that side does, which is a little spooky, not gonna lie. But when you get it up sitting on the locks, they sit just about perfectly level. These arms on this half are bent down, which doesn't help that issue. So this side needs about 1 inch spacer on it for the vehicle to be perfectly level as it goes up, because when we lift it and measure, we measure from the base plate to here. And on either side, they lift up perfectly level, well, within a 1/4. And then, but the vehicle is about 1 inch off because the arms are wore out and bent. You can buy replacement arms for it and that kind of stuff, but I think if I'm gonna go that route, maybe use it a few years, pay for it, and if I really like having a lift, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to, I'll just maybe upgrade to a nice new lift. Probably a lift, an over one that has the upper support, because that, I guess, gains you a lot of strength and stability instead of just relying purely on the bolts to support the weight. But I am super stoked. So that's going to be it for this project. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Let me a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I have the Bronco on the lift. I'm probably going to put back brakes on it. So I'll probably film that and show you guys. But here before long, I'll get the old broken edge back in the garage so I can replace the engine in it. But let me know what you guys want to see. That's all for me. I'll see you in the next video.